Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lalantia show. Today I'm coming on to talk about 5 ways to connect with the fairies. So I think this is kind of a necessary video. I get questions like this a lot of times, especially when I'm channeling in different groups or I'm talking about fairies somewhere new. People are often like, well, how do we actually connect with fairies? Like, how do we invite them into our life? And so I thought I would do a quick video on 5 ways that we can invite them into, that you may be able to invite them into your life and incorporate them into your life, basically. So if you are new here, my name is Lalantia. I'm a psychic realm channeler and energy healer. I specialize in working with the magical realms. I work with dragons, unicorns, mermaids, fairies. I work with all the different magical beings. I work with ascended masters, gods, goddesses, but you will see me talking about the magical beings quite a lot. It's kind of my specialty. I've been working with them for, at the time of recording this, probably about 7 years. And I'm not one of those people who was like, oh yeah, I was a small child and I was talking to fairies. I didn't actually have that experience. And maybe we'll talk about that in a different video about my childhood experiences a little bit, because it was not like some people's. So all of the work that I do is all about connecting to the magic of who you really truly are, being your most authentic self. Now, fairies are all about authenticity. They actually don't put up with people who are faking it, like faking caring about fairies, basically. They can read your energy immediately upon connecting with you. They read your energy, they know your intentions. So if your intentions are not good, then they'll avoid you, or you'll attract the wrong fairies. So fairies are all about taking care of the earth. If you haven't watched the video about that, go check that out. But that is what they are here for. They take care of the earth. They take care of the plants. They take care of the land. And so that is their first priority. But they are happy to connect with us and help us because we can take physical action to protect the earth. We are needed, so they're connecting with us more. But like I said, you have to have good intentions. You can't connect with them because you're greedy, because you want to connect with them so they can help you manifest, because they're amazing manifestors. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to connect with them so they can help me manifest better. No, they won't fall for that, and you have to have the right intentions. So the things that you can do, the first thing that you can do is take care of the earth. Take care of the planet. Clean up the garbage alongside the road. Clean up the garbage in the parking lots. Clean up the garbage when you go out and about, wherever it may be. Clean up the garbage. Do things like recycling. Try to avoid using plastic as much as you possibly can. Use reusable cups and silverware, and just be super conscious of what you are using in your life and how it affects the planet itself. Use natural things like natural makeups, eat natural foods, try to avoid things that have pesticides and other poisons on them. Support places and people who are doing the good work of, growing things organically or taking care of animals in a way that's humane, those kinds of things. Another thing that's kind of related to this that I didn't even think about before when I wrote up my notes for this is it will be easier, or could possibly be easier, to connect with them if you don't eat meat. Now, I'm vegan. I've been vegan as long as I've been connecting with the fairies, so I don't know the difference between, when you connect with them when you aren't vegan and when you are vegan. I do know that there are people who connect with the fairies and they aren't vegan, but do have an awareness of what you are putting into your body in regards to how it was raised, how it was treated, what it was fed, all of those different things, and how it affects the planet itself. So that's what they care about the most, is the planet. So all of those things are really, really important and to be aware of. Now, the next thing that you can do, and this is a top thing, this is like one of those things that's not really negotiable. You got to do it to some level. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are expected to be perfect. If you can't, let's say you live somewhere where they don't have recycling as an option, like, you can't really do much about that. You can try to cut out plastic and things that are harmful for the planet as much as possible. We should still do that because they don't have places to put all this plastic even when they're recycling it. It doesn't happen the way it should. So these are the things that you need to have in your awareness. Like, how are you treating the earth? The next thing is is to have a fairy garden or to have plants around you. Now, you don't have to have it as a fairy garden, but this is a really sweet way of inviting them into your yard. Now, a fairy garden can be in a pot. You can have a pot out on your patio. You can have it on, one of your decks or something like that. You can also have it in your house. But if you have a fairy garden outside, whether it's on the ground or in a pot, you can invite them in with intention. You can communicate to them just like, I don't know, talk out loud or talk in your head. Your intention is that you're calling in fairies to help you take care of your garden or to be a part of your life, and that you will do the best to support them and to you'll do your best to connect with them, however that may be. And then you can leave them, well, actually, I'll get to that point next. So your fairy garden doesn't have to be fancy. It's about the intention. And fairies love plants, so definitely have plants in it, not just a garden that has like little fairy houses and stuff like that. Another thing that you can think about a little bit, and don't overthink this too much, but if you're creating a fairy garden and you don't already have the pieces for it, you don't have to go out and buy these plastic fairy houses. Now, I will say I do have some because I have been collecting things over the past many years, and my dad had gotten a bunch, and so I've ended up with a lot of different things. This is something I always think about if I'm creating a fairy garden. If I don't already have these things, do I really want to go out and buy something that's plastic that's going to contribute to our plastic problem? Probably not. They're also often made in places that aren't of the best integrity and aren't really taking care of the earth. So, like I said, if you already have them or they're gifted to you or that's all that you have available, then don't overthink it. Go ahead, use it, but don't feel like you need to go buy something fancy. You can build a house out of lots of different things. So I'll take my kids out in nature and they'll build a little house with sticks. You can do that at home as well. You can get those little bird houses like at Michael's that are made out of wood that need to be painted. You can paint those. That can be part of your fairy garden. We have those as well. Also, it has the fun activity, which is something that I'm going to talk about later. So that could be two things that you do in one activity. So that is something just to think about. But plants, it can be any plants, anything that you're drawn to, anything that you connect with. But when you're buying plants for your fairy garden, it would be awesome if you go to buy the plants for the fairy garden with the intention that they're the fairies that want to connect with you, that are for the highest and best good, the deepest of love, highest of integrity, and that they'll let you know which plants they want. So you can set that intention that you're building a fairy garden for fairies to be drawn into your yard. And so those specific fairies can start to come forward that are meant to be in your yard or that are already in your yard. And so there may be plants that they particularly like. So if you connect with them beforehand, then you can buy those plants to put in the fairy garden. Okay. So they can be flowers, they can be greenery plants, it can be whatever. So you don't have to worry about that too much. There's also some beautiful succulent gardens, succulent fairy gardens. There's lots of different ones. If you don't know how to make a fairy garden, the Garden Answer on YouTube, she has lots of videos on, or she has quite a few videos, I've watched some of them, on making fairy gardens in pots, and they're beautiful. Some of them even have water features. So the next one is to bring them gifts, to bring them gifts. So you can bring them gifts that you can put in the fairy garden, or you can bring them gifts when you go out in nature, or you can just leave gifts in your yard. So fairies like all different kinds of things. Of course, they love chocolate and sweet things, but chocolate is poison for animals, so you want to be very cautious and careful in leaving that outside. Fairies like berries sometimes. They like shiny things like coins. You can leave them little crystals. I had one at my old house that loved banana smoothies, so I would make a banana smoothie for myself, and then I would give a little bit of banana smoothie to him, and I put it in a little cute little saucer. The like fruit, you could give them a piece of an orange or an apple. Now they don't physically eat any of the food, but they're going to take the essence of it. It is the gift, it is the intention, it is the power of that. They will take the essence of it. So if you leave it, they don't eat it. Of course, they don't physically eat it. They're taking the essence of it. You don't want to like eat it afterwards. That would be disgusting. besides the fact you want to sit out there for a little while. So is there anything else? Presentation is important. You don't want to just like set it out there on the dirt. Put it on something, even if it's a leaf. Put it on a leaf if you have to. I have a little saucer lid that's just cute. It's pretty and it works really well to leave out a little gift. Now, for the banana smoothie, for example, I would leave it out there for about 2 days. Sometimes it would only be a day, but I would always leave the gift. And anytime that you're leaving the gift, you let them know that it's for them. They can have it. They're welcome to it. And if you have like anything specific that you're talking to them about, you can let them know that. Now, we can ask fairies for help with different things, but it's all about like the balance in that. So don't be always like doing things just to have them help you with something. Do things out of the goodness of your heart because you want to connect more deeply with them. You want to understand them a little bit better, all of that. So don't overthink the gifts too much. It can also be like I had a necklace break and then there were some charms on there and one of them was like a little feather, and I had a fairy that was so excited about getting that little feather. I leave gifts sometimes in my fairy gardens, but when I go in nature, so if I go deeper in nature, you're going to connect with more fairies, way more fairies. You're going to see way more fairies. If you live out in the forest or out of town, then and there's more nature all around you, then you're going to be able to more easily connect with a lot more fairies. And I'm using the term fairies as a very general term because they look all different kinds of ways. These aren't just the flying fairies. These are all kinds of different beings, like different elementals. They can be gnomes. They can be I don't know. They can look all different kinds of ways. They can have wings. They cannot have wings. They can be itty bitty. They can be bigger. They can be there was some that I connected to the other day that were like as tall as my knee. So they can be all different sizes. I'm using the word fairies because it kind of encompasses everything more than I feel elementals does, but that's just my own way of perceiving things. Like we all use different words, right? They're all elementals, I suppose, technically, because they're taking care of the earth. Okay, so the next one that I have on my list is to be more playful, to sing, to play. You attract their attention when you're doing things that bring more joy and happiness to the world. So I wouldn't do this just on your own. You can do it and invite them in as part of these other things that you're doing. You can go in nature and start singing, and you'll likely, if you are tuned into the fairies around you, then you may likely find that they find that to be really wonderful. They like it a lot. The next thing that I have on the list is to do art. So art can look lots of different ways. You can do coloring. It's basically any creative activity. So like painting that birdhouse that I was talking about for the fairy garden. So you could do the fairy garden with that birdhouse, and that would be those two things in one go, right? So you can paint freehand. That's a really great way. You can also invite them in and ask them to help you with your painting or with your art, whatever it may be. There are people who channel fairies for their artistic endeavors because fairies are a very artistic energy. They're also like free flowing and like that energy of letting go, and so that can be really helpful for any creative projects. The other thing that I'm just going to mention, even though it's not technically on the list, is to meditate. So when you meditate and you connect with fairies, it's going to be connecting with fairy guides. So that's when you're going to connect with fairies who are a little bit different energy most of the time than the fairies you're going to see when you go out into the world. So if you meditate and you call in your fairy guides, then you have that opportunity to connect with them in a place where you're kind of letting go a little bit more and you're open to receiving their guidance and whatever it may be. Now, I do want to close this out with saying, make sure at any point in time, whenever you are connecting with them, that you are setting the intention that they are for the highest and best good, the deepest of love, and the highest of integrity. Check in with any of them that you're connecting with and make sure that they really, really are for your highest good, because fairies are not neutral energies. They can be not always for our highest good. So it's just good to check in. Nothing to be afraid of, but always be aware, because you don't want to connect with those that don't have your best intentions in mind. They can lead you astray. So, I mean, you always find your way back, right? But no point in dealing with that little mess. If you have any questions, you can post them below. I am happy to be doing lots more videos about the fairies, about the different types of elementals, about dragons and unicorns, and I have some videos already on mare beings, and I'll be doing more of them. So there's lots and lots of videos that you can catch up on if you haven't already seen them. I also have a membership group called Realms of Empowerment. This is a membership group where you have the opportunity to go deeper into this work with me. We do 2 journeys, shamanic journeys, every month as a group. And I channel for everyone twice a month in a live video. So Realms of Empowerment, the link is in my bio. You can find it on my website as well, lalantia.com. Thank you so much for watching me today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.